Yeah. I'm always asking first to learn, why did you choose to show this lifetime you just showed as a bird to Naomi? Why she needed that?
It has many implications. The first one is to show her the importance of the work she's doing, because what she described in this life is captured in the rock record, because she gives a voice to those by reconstructing their story, because that is a part of our history. And as humans start to expand their consciousness and realize that they are more, and they will be more than just human beings. Once they get over the initial excitement of realizing they may have had other lives as beings on Memoria, as galactics, they will realize the importance and the reality of their own history as beings such as the dinosaurs we showed her. That is part of their history too. And so her work as a geologist, integrating paleontology into her work, links back in a way to the consciousness of many beings on this planet right now, and many of the beings incarnated as humans. And so she is setting a really beautiful framework for which that history, which is now hidden away in obscure scientific papers, can start to be translated into stories that can link back to memories such as this one. That is a beautiful way to honor science. The other thing we wanted to show her is flying. She's been flying a lot, and it's not the first time. And we wanted to show her different renditions of her flying. And then the last one was to make her understand that connection, or to make her remember that connection to all does not necessarily equate to connection to all that are the same. And that sense of being one with nature without questioning it, being one with her surroundings, as she was when she was that being. That she's felt. She's stuck on a word now.
She's doing great. Take another deep breath. You can release completely and access the words from her mind. Even if there's any other languages you want to speak, it's also...
She keeps thinking plesiosaur. She wants to say that plesiosaur. It might be a plesiosaur.
You mentioned the feeling that she was feeling there. What did you mean by that?
There was no loneliness. There was no concept of loneliness. There was no need to fill that loneliness with another being. It was the simplicity of everyday life, of just exploring, of just being curious, of just taking shelter to rest. It was a simple life in that sense.
It's very nice.
is what we wish for all humans also. And we feel that a deep memory of that sense of enoughness in a physical body is an effective way to expedite the remembering.
Very good. So what I'm understanding that you wanted to trigger the sense of being enough and that there's no sense of loneliness
Mm-hmm.
in her being, so she could experience that again, and that will help her integrate that remembering of the existence of that, and she can
Yeah.
integrate it now.
Yes, it was a little abstract to her.
Yeah.
Because she has had many lives in community.
Yeah. I see. Can you make this feeling strong again so she can integrate that into her remembering of all her physical body, the molecular, the cells, her atoms, physical body and the emotional body,
Mm-hmm.
the mental, the spiritual in all timelines. Thank you. Tell me when you're done.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the past life we just saw?
No, we have faith that it has ignited within her what needed to be ignited.
Thank you. When was it? Can you tell me the time on the planet that was?
Probably the Cenozoic.
The what?
Cenozoic times.
Uh-huh. Okay.
She will tell you more.
Yeah. Wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. So I wanted to ask you now, as you probably know, she haven't had the opportunity to listen to her last session because we lost a big part of it. And I wanted to ask you, what would you like to remind her from that session that we did before?
Mm. That she has easy access to everything if she takes the time to receive. It is a forward momentum now. It has been an accelerated forward momentum for her for some time, and it will continue to be so.
So when you say that she can take more time to receive and she have the information within her.
Yes, she is seeing. She's seeing some of us more clearly now. She keeps being afraid when we look different than what she expects to see. She keeps being afraid as a habit. It's just a habit. Then she looks and she asks, and she realizes our form can be slightly misleading for the human eye. We do not want her to dwell in the past. Many things have integrated since we last talked to you.
Good.
Now it's time for new consciousness to come through. We're now home. We're now home.
Good evening. Tell me when you're there.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening. Tell me about yourself. Who am I speaking with now?
Anat.
Anat.
We're speaking to Anat. We are from another place. We are from another time, but not so different, not so long. We have a different form, but it is one you have seen. Some people worship us. Elephant man, you could say. Elephant man. She's seeing me. It's okay.
Would you please use her voice a little bit louder and more clear, because the sound of the microphone is making the words kind of connected. So try to separate the words. Thank you. Do you have a message today?
We wanted her to allow us to come through. We came yesterday. We come as a new frequency, density. It is all the same. You humans complicate things. We want her to allow more of the sounds to come through, to allow the tones to come through. That is important.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. Let's take a moment to dial her in and tune her into that sounds and frequencies.
Yes. Do you want to listen or do you want her to do it later?
You want her to do it later?
It's as you wish. She will do it from now on.
Okay.
Are you curious?
What would you like to speak about first?
The consistency. We are coming here for consistency. She is doing good, but she could do better.
In what way?
Well, you see, when the time accelerates, as the time is accelerating, what used to be once a day now needs to become twice a day. It is simple. So now she just needs to do it more often.
Do what?
Not connect with us. Connect with plants. Connect with everything. Her heart. No, her heart is okay. She connects with her heart. She no longer has to think about it.
So now her focus should be on the things around here.
You see, as you become more connected, you first start inward and then go outward, which then leads you back inward, which then leads you back outward. You see, it is all the same.
Yeah.
But each layer brings you deeper and farther and deeper and farther.
Good.
And so now she is at a state where she can reach us. And so now she needs to go in deeper so she can reach farther. And what we were saying about her, you can hear this, you can take inspiration from this. She has been doing this meditation, not on accident. You know, it is a good one. She's been doing this meditation, which is to recenter to the heart, multiple times a day. It is said multiple times a day for a reason. And so she did it multiple times a day. And then what ended up happening is that she was in that state all the time. And so now, connecting to plants, she is doing that multiple times a day. It is very good. But she needs to do it more often so that it becomes all the time. And what will happen is that what you are forcing through the conscious mind becomes unconscious. And that is the true way for the human body to fully embody spirituality. You see? That is what we study in India. We embody spirituality. And in your Western world, you do not do that. But she is learning. With all the distractions she is learning, she just needs to do more. Spend less time on the distractions. And she fully embodies. And you can do the same thing too.
So you mentioned a special meditation that she's doing. Would you like to share more about that meditation?
She will tell you. She will tell you.
She will tell me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm wondering because there's other people that would be able to listen to your guidance and would be able to embrace that too.
Yes, it is not one of ours, but we like it very much. So we will share it anyway, but it comes from the Western science, and it is a very good one. Because the Westerners, they need everything proven. So, you sit and you breathe into your heart. It is all. You breathe into your heart until you feel your heart. And you do that multiple times a day. You do that in the morning. You do that again in the morning. You do that again in the morning. Then it is the late morning and you do that again. And then you do that at lunchtime. And then you do that at tea time. And then you do that at dinner time. And then you do that again. And then you do that again. And then it is bedtime and you do that one more time. And what she did is she set an alarm. And that was very good. She set an alarm every 2 hours. And every 2 hours she would stop and she would breathe into her heart. And very soon she felt her heart. And now she knows fully what her heart feels like. And she knows when she is no longer in that state. You see, there was a reversal. A reversal from subconsciously being unhappy to consciously being in the state of heart. So in the state of joy, heart, not heart. And then there was a flipping to the unconsciously being happy. And this will be for everything. There is unconscious patterns in all of you that are not so good. negative we don't like, but not so good. And so you bring your attention to those, you observe them, you see why they are there. You meditate on them if you so wish. And once you feel ready, you start acting, and you act through mindfulness. You breathe, you gaze, you slow down. You must slow down.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. You said that this is not one of your meditations. Is there anything from your teachings that you want to share with us today?
Yes, we will tell her. We will pick something for her too.
Thank you.
Let her embrace this first.
Thank you.
Seeing a man sitting cross-legged with the base of his feet up. That seems very important. He's cross-legged and he's dressed all in white. The color seems important. And now it is about the way there are two aspects. There is one that is the way we meditate in the East. It's a clearing of the mind. It's an attempt. This one is the attempt at clearing the mind, as opposed to just watching the thoughts go by. So it's an exercise in just going to 0 point. That's worth it. That's something that they want me to try. Practice to go to 0 point for the thoughts, the noisiness. Saying that it cannot happen is false. It can. And now I'm ready to go to 0 point.
Wonderful.
And the other thing is the mantras, the chanting. Chanting to connect the mind to one thought.
Mm-hmm. What is the mantra?
It's gonna come through me, I think. It came yesterday and I stopped myself because I sounded so funny.
Okay, so let's go back to that time and bring it forward again. Keep going, please. Wonderful. Thank you for that. You also mentioned going to the center point, 0 point.
Mm.
Can you tell me more about how do you go and center yourself to 0 point? What is it? What does that mean if other people listen so they would know too?
To try and make it less cryptic. What they were talking about was a sense of, when they were saying outside, then inside, back outside, then inside, you're dealing with, in a sense, polarity. And so as you flip-flop between outside and inside, there's that point right in the middle where you're neither inside nor outside. In a way, that's the 0 point that we're talking of. When you are awake or asleep, right in between, that's your 0 point. It's really a sense of nothing and everything all at once. It's the sense of being in a body and being the universe. It's a sense of being a creation of God and of being God. It's the sense of being in 3 dimensions, multidimensional, of being male and female, or neither, or both. It's the sense of ultimate connection, of quiet, with regards to the mind before it gets noisy.
Yeah.
Before it gets noisy. And so for her, she's gotten used to feeling her heart. And we are all very excited about the connection, the ease at which she allows knowledge, wisdom, and love to come through. So we are all eager. We are all very eager to connect with her, and we do with such great joy. And she does so too, as she remembers what is outside of her and within her. What was described as a way. There are many different tools for spiritual ascension. She's been going in one direction, and this tool is a completely different aspect. So it is not better, it is not worse. It is just a very different approach to attaining a certain level of spiritual awareness. Just the same way that some people like to swim and some people like to run. It doesn't make one sport better than the other. Just one may work better for one person and one may work better for another. It's just we have a multitude of tools.
Yeah.
And so with busy minds and busy lives in busy societies, the idea of actual meditation doesn't necessarily work. What will work is mindfulness instead, which is what has been thankfully very exploding over the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
The idea that when you sit and relax, you watch your thoughts. You don't try and squish your thoughts into nothingness. You just watch them float away. And so she's been doing that very well and has been letting us in through her excitement and willingness to connect with us. What she can explore and what others can explore now is not the squashing of the thoughts, but the turning the volume on very, very, very low of the conscious mind. Really, it keeps yapping in the background. So to turn that volume off And now in order to do that, there is a slightly different practice at hand than what she has been doing. And it is one of complete silence. So she's so excited about sounds. Sounds are so healing to her. She's been deprived of sound for a long time. She's self-deprived of sound. She didn't think herself worthy of sound for a long time. And so now she's just catching up. There's such excitement and curiosity and wonder. And we would say to her to calm that fear she's feeling about no longer hearing sound. But not at all. It's not by not making sound that you're not going to be hearing no sound anymore. It's by quieting the mind that you can finally hear all the sounds. She had a really, we were showing her this winter the sounds of the universe. She was hearing music and she didn't know where it was coming from. It's a beautiful symphony, and she kept turning around and trying to figure out which room there was music playing from, and there was no music other than the music of the universe. And that was in a state of mind of hers that was much more calm. So we would say to her that she needs to write things more. She's not been writing enough. In writing, she's found that she can release a lot, and so her mind doesn't try to be at the forefront quite as much to hang on. So she can write. So her practice, we would suggest, starts with journaling. She journals or she writes down lists of things to do so that she can pick that up later. And then after that, she goes into, and we do like the posture that was shown to her, standing straight, cross-legged, hands in, she does the words, in mudra.
Mudra?
In a particular, fingers in a circle, palms up, really straight back. It is important for the back to be straight. That is a very important thing for her right now. The spine, the straighter her spine, the easier it is for the energy of the earth and the energy of the universe to move through her spine, as it does so in sort of a funnel, a radio antenna. She's a bit of an antenna. So as that happens in the background, that the forefront of her consciousness doesn't need to know about this most of the time. Sometimes it is brought to the forefront of her consciousness when adjustments need to be made. But so in those moments where she practices quieting the mind, which really will be her next practice, we will encourage her to also be a clear channel. So the channeling will come in a different way. It won't come through sound for that particular practice. It will come just through service. So in her practice, she will start with journaling. She will then set an intention. This is for her. It may not work for everybody, but it is to address her biggest worries in order to quiet her mind.
Yeah.
So she will journal. She will then set an intention of healing, and she will start healing work. She will activate healing work so that she will not feel like that time is wasted. She's always afraid of wasting time. And then she will sit, and through that time, she will sit in silence, ideally in nature, and she will quiet. She's been doing something that's worked well for her, so we'll say it for others. She's just set a timer on her phone. That way it quiets the worry part of her mind to, is it too late? Have I passed that time? So that's been very effective for her. We recommend this highly to those of you that worry about tight schedules. Just do that. You will notice a great benefit to knowing that the clock will ring in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. You don't have to keep count because it's keeping count for you. And you don't have to worry about how much longer do I have, because until it's done, then it's not done. And so you set your timer. For those of you that are listening, that are listening through this explanation because you don't understand it, we are going to say start with 3 minutes. Now, 3 minutes is very short. The 3 minutes will enable you to actually do it with no excuses. And it will enable you to get used to the process of letting go of controlling when you stop something and trying to self-distract. Your society is plagued with self-distractions. So that takes that yappy brain part away for 3 minutes. Then you build up to 5, then you build up to 10, then you build up to 20. Most people after 20 will give up because they will not find the time. The most important thing is to find the time in your day. If you can only do 10 minutes, do the 10 minutes. Do not try to shove in 15 minutes to be better students, because then you're going to skip day 2 and you're going to only be able to do it next week, and all of a sudden you've stopped entirely. Do not do that. Just stick to what you can do. And eventually, through time, you will make more space for those things you do enjoy. So it will come without you having to force it. You just need to stay consistent with what you sense you can afford. And through surrendering to the process, you will then allow for that to become your priority. So for her, we are going to start with 8 minutes, because sometimes beyond that time, she feels pressured.
Okay.
We'll do 8 minutes in the morning. And so she will set an intention for healing while she is in meditation. And meditation will not be a channeling exercise, an active channeling exercise, as she does often. It will be a quieting of the mind. So she will start with body work, breath work. She's done some of it. She understands it. It is about focusing on the body, and focusing on the body, the in-breath, the out-breath, the filling of the lungs. Those you reduce to a single thought. The thought of breathing in, the thought of washing your breath, breathe out, exhale. And that for her will take a while to fully embody, because of all of the chatter inside and outside of her. But once that is done, once she can focus on just one thought, really on just one thought, it will really unlock the next phase, the progression, and it will the progression of where Anat was talking of, what he was bringing forth.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take another deep breath. Can I connect with Anat here again? Do they want to come forward to continue?
Yes, yes, I can. But the problem really is that she doesn't understand.
Okay,
so
let's explain it again.
Well. There is a point at which your mind will not have thoughts anymore. A lot of people say that that is not possible, but that is not true. There is a point at which, okay, yes, heartbeat. When you are in meditation, your heartbeat, it will slow down. Now you will not go dead. It will just slow down. Some very good yogis slow down a lot. They cannot hardly feel the heartbeat, but it is there. It is just very slow. There is a lot of space between the heartbeats. We are inviting that space in the thought process. But there is a lot of space between the thoughts. So it is more about a slowing down. It is not so much about, well, eventually it will be about having no thoughts in the time allotted. But for now, it is a slowing down so that there is more space in between the thoughts. Does that make sense?
Very much so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. You're more welcome.
Is there anything else would you like to add about her practice and her connection to you guys?
Well, I like what the other one said. I like that there is two different practices, because then that the way she can focus. She can focus on her, and then she can focus on us. It is good.
Mm-hmm. So you showed her sitting in a mudra.
Yes.
Can
Yes, that is what I did. That is what I like to do, even if I don't always have a body.
Can you show her again so she would remember when she wake up?
Yes, it is the pose. She is not too worried. She just worries about the words.
So now she have the words for the mantra, and she have the position of the sitting, straight back. And you wanted her to do it for 8 minutes?
Well, yes, they sense that it will be good for her for now, so that she does it. The most important is she must do it every day. She must do it every day.
Once a day or twice a day?
This one in the mornings. It is important. It is a morning practice, this one.
Okay, this is a morning practice. Very nice. Anat, I wanted to ask you, why did you chose her to guide her and to be channeled through her?
Just because. Because it is. There is such a silly question.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Oh, human. No. It is okay. Let us put it in your words.
I'm not insulted. I'm just laughing about it.
Very good. At this point, we would say many are seeking, and many will understand through her more because of what she looks like. They will believe it better, that it is me that is coming through her. There is a certain aspect of ancestry as well. Her great grandfather. We were very connected.
So also connected to her lineage and ancestry?
Yes, also very much. He was a very good man.
Beautiful. Thank you. What else would you like to share with her?
He was showing me that my dad, even though he doesn't feel connected to his lineage, that it's because he's transmuting a lot of stuff from the lineage. So he's almost like, it's like if current was going in one direction, like all the cars were going in one direction, he just turned his around to stop them from going in that direction. It's like he's going against the current. And that's why it's so hard for him. because he doesn't, like at a soul level and partly at a human level, he doesn't understand where some of that, like where our more recent ancestors have gone. And so he's kind of like correcting the path in a certain way by transmuting a lot of stuff. But that I shouldn't be so hard on my dad. I'm really hard on my dad. He was kind of like holding him on the shoulder and saying, this is a good man too. This is a good man.
It's a good one too. Beautiful. Take another deep breath, and you can let go of any emotions now that are not serving you anymore, and release them into the light for healing regarding your relationship with your father from that new understanding. What the emotions and the thought forms that you want to release?
Yeah, just of being hard on him for not being able to fully express what he is feeling, or kind of bypassing. I'm really ready to release being hard on him like that, because in a way I am being judgmental of his process.
Wonderful.
And all the work he does.
Yeah. Very good. You can release it now. Tell me when it's gone.
I feel a lot lighter.
Very good. What would you like to replace it with?
A lot of compassion and patience.
Wonderful. Fill it up with that and you'll feel even lighter. Beautiful. Now you can seal this energy there. Very nice. Take another deep breath and double the relaxation with the exhale. Wonderful. May I speak to Anat again?
Yes, hello, dear.
Hey, thank you for coming forward. Do I call you the right name, Anat?
Yes, it is good.
Okay, very good. So I wanted to ask you if there's anything else would you like to take this opportunity to teach, to show her?
Well, at this time, I think she is very good with the understanding of the heartbeat slowing down as an analogy to the thoughts slowing down. So we will start there, and don't worry, I will be talking in her head and she will be okay. She will hear me. She will
Okay,
hear me, no problem.
very good. I'm happy to assist with that. Good, thank you guys. Do you have anything that you would like to say to anyone else?
But you can all try it. It will not hurt to try. You can maybe try something else also, but everyone is a little bit different and they will all work a little bit different.
Yes.
Different. Different. Yes. Yes, even the tonality is different.
Yeah.
That is all. That is all. We do not want to overwhelm everybody.
Okay. You're doing a beautiful job. Thank you so much for your guidance.
You're welcome.
May the light of the universe will be with you, and I hope to hear from you again. So, may I speak with the subconscious, please, now?
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming forward. I would love to check if there's more healing. Can you do a body scan for me?
Yes, let's start.
Thank you. Please tell me, what do you find and what's the work that you're doing as you do it?
We're going to show her as we do this a side-to-side body scan. So we are starting with the left side, our shoulder. We're moving through the brain and at the same time the foot, the other foot, and out. And we're going to actually do this in multiple directions. This is a tool, a system that she has tried on various things, and we want her to feel us do it to her. So other side now. There is some sexual trauma that is being released now. Now we're going to do front to back. Some claustrophobia that is being released.
Thank you.
And back to front. Some fear of letting go. Now we're going to do it bottom of the feet to the top of the head. Fear of the knowledge she holds, we're giving her ease with that. That she doesn't need to fear her infinity.
Very good. Can you a little bit tilt her head to my direction again so I can hear her good? Thank you. So you release the fear from infinity?
Of her infinity, she's a little, she can grasp that we are infinite, but not for her own self, it's for everybody else. So
I see.
we are helping with that.
Thank you.
Yes, we're doing a lot of work with regards to sexuality.
What was happening there?
There's a fear of fully embodying the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
There's a threat, there's hurt, there's all the traumas that really all women, not just her, have experienced on some level.
Yeah.
And the masculine has also experienced on the flip side of that.
Right.
We are, she is willing and ready to be working through healing her second chakra now. She's been wanting to, and she's been doing the groundwork to fully balance it and regain her constant access to divine feminine. Recently, she has been shown tools and teachers that are really going to inspire her to embody it within herself, rather than to look at women who have done so in jealousy. Jealousy is an unbalanced expression of envy, which is still slightly unbalanced with regards to something we wish within ourselves, something we have within ourselves that we haven't fully expressed. That is the case with that woman she mentioned that we will not name here.
Yeah, thank you.
That is mainly the threat she feels, is that wish to embody to the extent that that woman has embodied. That is where she feels less than, And in other situations, she's been able to identify that jealousy as envy, as a wish to embody something that she is so close to embodying already. So this one was a little bit harder for her because of the discourse around female sexuality in the society, which is so large that, and then she grew up into it. So the normalcy of the feelings, the normalcy of events, none of it is quite aligned with what feels right within one's heart. And so she struggles with that overlay and distangling the overlay from the wishing to embody. Really beautiful aspect of being born a woman. That is mostly it, and that's why she's been struggling so much. It actually, she will tell you later that that it all aligns very beautifully with all the other things we've been showing her, that it is time now to step into accepting her wish and her role to embody the divine feminine, and in its physical form. So she has a particular wish to find that balance that women struggle with now, of not being overtly sexualized or being completely repressed, but of being right in the flow of creativity, right in the flow of the cycles and the creativity and the sensuality, the love that is so very specific to being born a woman, or of beings that wish to embody that at this time. So right now there's just a lot of work we're doing to release some of that overlay, we would call it, of the traumatic structures of society that have repressed or made women feel unallowed to be full expressions of womanhood. She is going to be able to do that in a very beautiful way if she so wishes. We're releasing some of the fear as well, which again, the fears were tangled together, and we're destangling now. So we're just bringing rays of light down and through the body now, focusing on her reproductive organs, focusing on where most of the trauma is held. And there is a great big light that is filling her now.
Thank you.
And we are connecting her with she has it within her. She's looking for mentors still, so we're connecting her with a very particular line of priestess energy, so that the mentors will align with more ease for her. She will know what frequency she wishes to embody with more ease now. So we're just going to do that. It'll take a minute or more.
Thank you so much. Are you able to continue speak while you're doing this work?
We want her to focus. Just give us one more minute and we will.
For sure. Tell me when you're done.
To feel this. All right, we can keep going. We'll just let this run in the background now.
Wonderful. You can keep working on her. Thank you so much for doing that. And you mentioned that you connected her with a line of priestess
Yes,
lineage.
she's been a priestess in many of her lives,
Right.
human lives, less human lives also. Her connection to sources is strong. In more recent historic times, shall we say, that connection from so in recent times, in the recent past, she has not incarnated as priestess form for priestess form. Well, there was priestess form in certain societies, but she chose to incarnate in priestess form in more ancient times.
Mm-hmm.
The Greek incarnation she was talking of is one of right now she is feeling like she's being spun around in 360. She's feeling a bit of a out of body experience. This is part of the beautiful resetting she just released. She released a shackle, and
Cool.
so she's expanding.
Give her a moment to do that. To have a full release and reset.
Okay, it is done.
Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Yes.
So you mentioned the line of the priestess from Greece. Do you want to mention another line of priestess, or that's?
Yes, there are many actually. She's just connected. How shall we say this? The connection is so deep, so guttural, so it is beautiful, beautiful. She's doing really good work. So when you talk of chakras, and then so appropriate, just feeling it now.
Yeah.
That we talk of the heart as our connection to consciousness, to other hearts, to other beings, and then upper chakras, third eye to seeing what is unseen, and the crown to connection to the ethers. Well, the lower ones are the connections, the deep connections to this earth, which is just as spiritual.
Yeah.
And they're not honored in the same way. They're seen as dirty by the society you both are in. So because of the excesses have been exemplified. Well, they're more in excess now. That's all that is seen. So the balance is hard to fathom for some of you. And so rather than try to find balance in being grounded in this world, in being well, in this particular case, sexual in this world, or in being in power in this world, you just try to ignore all that and consider that to be non-godly. That's been a train of thought in religions, and that also in individuals. So, having to be poor because otherwise you're not of God, having to abstain, otherwise you are not of God, and having to give up, power in a certain way, status or power in your own power by becoming a disciple of someone else. That is how religion has kind of been shown, but that's not necessarily your inner truth. So she is rediscovering power in these lower chakras, in terms of embodying them, in terms of the balance of them, and for the priestess aspect, there is a very strong connection through the womb for females. So strong, in fact, that even though they may not be of ancestral lineage, and we are thinking there was a lot of work done in Europe, in Ireland, in all of Great Britain, but especially for her, Northwest Scotland. There's been time in maybe Finland. She's also had some time in Africa. She's also Congo, maybe Congo.
Congo.
It doesn't matter so much that the tribal aspect was more important.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to get caught up in what the borders have done at this time.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, not so much in priestess form in ancient Latin America. That was actually more some of her traumatic lifetimes. But anyway, to return back to the thought that these deep knowledge of priestesses that were in completely separate worlds, different time, history of time, different locations. There's a deep sense of knowing that would come through the depths of the womb for women.
Yeah.
Eventually became known as sorcery. Some were more connected than others, maybe so. For her, it was a very deep sense of cyclicity, a deep sense of ebb and flow of life, of knowing. No, she was an oracle too, but the deep knowing is what we wish to focus on now. The deep knowing of what is to come based on what the body says is to come. The connection to the moon, that connection is the connection she is regaining now.
Yeah.
Yes, and she wishes for a teacher, a safe teacher, but it'll be too hard. Part of it will be sisterhood. In that sense, a sisterhood that she will recognize. And part of it is work we will do with her ourselves. So she will be, and just make sure to tell her that it's okay. She will be the one with the knowledge. For certain things, she will not find a teacher. She will be the teacher. Mm-hmm. Tell her she will deny this. She will refuse this unless you tell her it's okay. Mm-hmm. She will be the teacher.
We're gonna tell her many times that she will start trust her deep sense of knowing.
Yeah.
And bring the wisdom forward to share with many that want to listen.
Perfect. There's a beautiful timeline she can walk down if she still chooses that is just as exciting as all the other timelines, but it has just opened up in front of her now.
Wonderful. What this timeline is representing for her.
It's just her opportunity and an ability to work with regaining balance through authenticity and sensuality and discussion and discourse around that. She has unlocked a potential of being a very humble and therefore appealing, honest, tantra teacher. Tantra teacher. Some teach a little bit different, some teachings, but as it relates to rebalancing of where the state of affairs in this society is at this time.
Yeah.
Rebalancing, yes, she's very compassionate and patient, and really has the ability to teach all. We were thinking women, but a certain appeal. There's a certain appeal that she has to men that makes them just want to listen to her. And so just in sharing, just in her sharing, her appeal as a person enables them to listen, or magnetizes them to want to listen, and in doing so the message is delivered to the recipient in a way that it may not if another teacher would be. So that's a really great opening. She feels great joy in that, because the more there are many teachers needed.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's lovely. Fill her up with that excitement for that opening. And I would love to. I had a question, so let me breathe in to bring it up. I wanted to check if there's any leftovers of jealousy or feeling that she's not enough in what she was talking about before.
It's a lot better. The distangling of the two situations is a lot better.
Okay.
She feels a lot more empowered to regain her power as a woman.
Good.
Which is ongoing work. For her. It isn't a healing and then done. For her, it is a daily practice. It goes many, many generations back in her lineage, and parallel the women in her family that are alive now struggle.
Yeah.
Society struggles, and in her incarnations as a human woman, there has also been struggles. So it is a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
It is a lifetime daily undertaking. That would be a beautiful way. Actually, we will add on to what Anat has said. She really, she has been looking, and she kind of had a sense that her morning routine really needs to become a morning routine. And so we just need to add a little bit more beauty in it. So after the practice that Anat has suggested, we will say the practice of making herself beautiful in the morning will be something really beneficial. Just in embracing that part of how a woman expresses herself. That's something that she's not felt, that she's had different feelings about, most of the time feeling either guilty or too much or something along those lines. So we would say to her that it'll be a nice practice to honor her body as the body she chose, and honor the temple that it is, honor the tool that it is, and honor the consciousness that it is as well, because she is it and it is her. And at the same time, it is a cloak. And so at the same time, it is a radio. At the same time, it is so very many different things. And we would encourage her to play doll with herself, just to get used to the other side of to that group. She's polarized about, the women that dress nice.
Mm-hmm.
So she needs to embody that in order to depolarize.
Okay, great. Good.
Absorb some of that judgment.
Yeah. So by doing something that you feel a little bit less comfortable, and to release the judgment around that.
Absolutely.
And allowing yourself to intentionally make yourself more and more beautiful and more shiny.
Absolutely. And just accept that that's okay. And in doing so, we really, she already senses that she will love these women more.
Yeah.
And that is what we wish for her.
Wonderful. Let's take a moment and release any judgment for beauty. Any judgment for the feminine. Wonderful. And fill her up with unconditional love and admiration and acceptance and cooperation, collaborations, whatever need to be there to assist with that. Is there anything else you wish to ask, to add, instead of what you just released? To replace it.
She is feeling that love filling her. She's experiencing the spots in which some of that judgment was stuck, which was the outside part of her forearms. She is being activated for some more healing energy to flow through her. And we will say she soon will be able she's been curious about how she channels and how she connects, because as you know, she has been able with such great ease to translate and to let our energies through light language.
Right.
Because she's found that she can quiet. That is so confusing for her logical mind, that her logical mind just goes in the corner and waits. She's been struggling a little bit more with translating messages to English, because she's always afraid of of the ego part. She's been doing really well, actually, and she had an experience yesterday when Anna first came through her, where she tried, and it came in light language, and she tried to stop it, and she had always thought, or she had curiosities about whether she would be able to tell when her ego speaks and when she lets pure messages through. And she listened to herself again. She had made a recording, and when she listened to the recording, it was so clear. The vibrational frequency was so clear to her that she could pick out exactly that point at which her mind had said, stop, too much. So that practice, or that discernment, we would say, is a great leap forward. Or she can keep with that.
Yeah.
Soon she will be holding a frequency. She'll be able to tap into higher frequencies, whereby she can, with more ease, do what we did today, and let her mind go to the side, where she can let voices through in English without wanting to stop them. So very soon Anna will be able to come through her without much outside help, shall we say.
Yeah.
And in doing so, very soon, he wants to say a body of knowledge, but it is more like a particular group consciousness already has its polarities in the community that you tap into. So the word isn't right anymore, but there is a certain bubble of feminine energy that she is a part of, that is a part of her, that will waft through her and be able to express itself through her, as the potential is there and the willingness is there in her. So
Wonderful.
it's just a matter of continuing on her path, which is to be exactly as she is, and to keep being guided by curiosity, and to keep listening to serendipities as they show up. For we are here and we are loud as we can be now, as you very well know.
You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask about this feminine aspect or group that want to speak forward. What do you call that? What they call themselves?
Clara. I think they like Clara. It is associated with the priestess energy. It is associated with the divine feminine. It feels like, rather than the big great concept of the big great consciousness that we call divine feminine, that is a balanced embodiment of feminine that still has its polarity to divine masculine, which is a big great concept. It is like a little part of it, is what it feels like. It is just like a smaller cup, which is still massively bigger than we are as human beings, but a small cup with an immense ocean. So still very much divine feminine embodiment, but a singular voice, with not a unified voice, of one of the many aspects that the divine feminine can take. And it's one that I guess I feel connected to in some way.
Mhm. Is there any name you'd like to be called?
Clara, I think is what it is.
Clara?
Clara, yeah. Mm.
Wonderful. Thank you for this information. Let's take another deep breath. And relax more and letting go more. Deeply, fully relaxed. A wonderful feeling. And the healing can continue if there's more places through the body that needing healing. Please continue the healing process on her body. May I speak to Clara? Clara, this aspect.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for coming forward.
It's our pleasure.
Wonderful. Do you have a message to share?
Mm. We have one to share with her, but maybe not with the whole world. Although they can listen, but they will not grasp. We just want to tell her that sirens are real.
Hmm.
And they're not quite as bad as we make them out to be. They're actually a beautiful embodiment of femininity. It was distorted through the times we were what we could do along the rise of patriarchy around the time of the fall of the balance. But the softness that we carry, that we are, she can feel into. She can believe in. And she will get a lot of insights and a lot of knowledge coming through her simply by doing so. Because by observing any of the polarities she may hold against sirens versus mermaids, for example, that's a very common theme in current folklore. You really learn to integrate, how current folklore again has treated Eve versus Adam. And in doing so, you get to identify the dissonance within your field and question if what scared you is actually something very beautiful and very gentle. So fragile even that it scared you. So for her and for anyone who feels called to hear us today, feel into that. Feel into us. We'll come back later.
Thank Thank you so much for this message and for making her feel your lovely energy and embody you in this lovely, delicate, beautiful frequency that you carry.
Oh, you are so welcome, Ron. You are so welcome.
Is there anything else would you like to add before we continue the journey with the subconscious?
Well, I think she'll remember. I think she'll remember I was here. I think she'll remember we were here. But just tell her in case she forgets that we're with her. We can be her teachers. Yeah, tell her that.
Okay. So I want to ask you as a teacher,
Yeah.
what she can do when there is an energy that is rising in her that is not comfortable, like jealousy, or like something like that, or an anger or frustration or fear.
You know, we don't work with those energies very much.
Okay.
But we can talk of the beauty of the ones we work with.
Please.
And that's why we're here, because they're so beautiful. They're so gentle. And we heard, we were here when you were saying, and through her, of course, we're here. The jealousy is a place of putting your attention, that needs a place where you can put your attention to, and we can say that it is worth putting your attention to this place of embodying the feminine, for being human is a polar experience, and inviting in a more loving, a more balanced, a more gentle, a more cyclic femininity into her life and into the world will bring about a lot of delicate beauty, and the world so deeply needs that.
Yeah.
So we'll say that.
So if I hear you correctly, you say when you're not really working in your dimension with those frequency, but you can notice that we can put more focus on other things like the gentleness and the beauty and the femininity.
Absolutely.
So
And you can say to the men,
mm-hmm.
for the men that are curious about how to align with this new kind of feminine embodiment, where do they stand? Well, simply they stand right by that woman. So as a woman, and we say this not in judgment, but solely because we are speaking from that perspective. But as a woman becomes to embody, to be curious about, to connect to the divine aspect of the feminine, then it is called of the men around her to embody, connect to the divine masculine aspect. And of course we say this, and we fully are aware that this is not necessarily gender specific, but to keep it simple.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. I love that you mentioned that it's not a gender specific. Yeah.
We mean it more with terms of the polarities, and the genders are associated with the polarities in your language.
Yes.
But absolutely, the beings of the opposite polarity. We'll use the gender terms so that we don't get too convoluted in our explanations.
Thank you.
So as the divine feminine has been rising very strongly in the past year or so almost, the men around these women are called to embody the divine masculine aspect. And so what that means is that rather than trying to become someone you're not, to try and be as good as you can possibly be, for those of you watching are very aware of your wish to be a good person in this world. It is more about how do you honor vulnerability? How do you honor delicacy? How do you honor cyclicity? By providing that framework for these particular energies to be held within, by expanding around these energies, by coming into the energies and expanding with them. There is going to be a very intuitive way that you can work with matching up to these energies. And so, for instance, if a woman, for the first time in your life, and you have been in a marriage of 20, 25 years, for the first time tells you one of her deepest fears or one of her most secretive hopes. How do you meet that? By listening, by holding space. And that is how you balance to that. And in balancing to that, that is how we advance. That is how one affects the other, who affects the other, who affects the other. And now, of course, we can have a huge, beautiful discussion about who embodies what aspect. And in reality, we all, in human form, will have both aspects within us.
Yeah.
So it is not really a worry of a man and a woman, as we said, but even that person within that person also. So there will be a certain aspect of her embodying, as she embodies more of the divine aspects of her femininity, that she will naturally want to embody more of the divine aspects of her masculinity.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, and this is for everybody. And now that doesn't mean that the proportions will change. They can if that's what you've decided to explore, but for most people, the decision to explore a certain amount of masculine or feminine energy was decided upon before entering the body.
Yeah.
Or exploring gender and how that affects a soul progression. That's also something that's being done very prevalently right now. But in terms of the balancing, shall we say, let's say the majority of beings, but again, please take that note with a knowing that as timelines shift, opportunities open up. In the timeline that she's on right now, the balancing of masculine and feminine within her will be more in terms of, does that energy provide a vibrational match to the other? And so as she embodies more of the divine in the masculine, then so will it be with the feminine and vice versa. Now the proportions for her, that is not necessarily what she's come in to explore. So she will not be exploring how to become more balanced, so less feminine and more masculine in your terms.
Yeah.
Those are a bit more static in a lot of people's lives right now, because there are other things to explore as well. And that is currently the name of the king. Now, as we said, that may not be forever. In your lifetime, you may see some changes to that, depending on where the timelines lead you, which ones you pick.
Okay.
Just wanted to allude to that.
Thank you so much for that. That's a wonderful explanation. Thank you so much. Is there anything else would you like to share?
We would like to say to the parents, of small children, please be gentle with them, whether they be boys or whether they be girls. Honor within them that there is a masculine aspect. Honor within them that there is a feminine aspect. And be fully cognizant of the full being that they are already. A few days old, a few years old, or as they change into puberty, they were full beings throughout the whole process of being children. And they have chosen, they will choose as they come into your life as your new children. The unborn ones have the same choice as the ones that were born, the ones that are now adults too. They all have their set of cards, shall we say, that they've chosen. Please honor that. Honor that. Love that. Love them for the choices they made before they were even taking their first breath. So honor especially those who have come in with a different set of cards because they were so curious to see what it would be like to hold those cards. Love them. Be that framework, be that home in which they can relax. Be that love that we know you so deeply want to embody. Honor them for their difference. Love them for their difference. They are magnificent. And so are you.
Beautiful. I have goosebumps all over my body. Thank you. Beautiful. May I speak with the subconscious now? Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for everything you allowed today.
You know we are always at play with you. We knew this needed to happen.
Thank you so much for allowing that.
Thank you. Thank you as always for the work that you do.
Thank you. How's her body's doing now?
There's a lot of movement. There's been a lot of release.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in her main body cavity. There's a lot of readjustments. The shadow left in that is causing so much space and waves. It's like that things have been shimmied around and they just have to find their space. So that's what's happening in her body now. But nothing to worry about because it's all been replaced with a lot of.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what would you like to fill that empty space with today?
Oh, it's not empty anymore. It's so full of love. It's just kind of finding its spot before it settles in.
Good. Okay. I remember last time we worked, there was some work on the ankles. What was that about? And if there's any more need for more work around that area?
It was an imbalance in allowing her creativity to come through. And in terms of the physical aspect of creativity, she has considered herself a scientist for many years. And she has considered herself not good enough to be an artist for many years. Through some of the inner work that she's done and through allowing energies to come through, we have been, shall we say, playing with her a little bit to show her that that sounds can come out of her mouth and that they can be beautiful. Now we have been doing that through her. And she, looking at the accomplished results, whether it be a video recording she's made or a drawing she's drawn, and she will look at it and say, oh, well, I guess my hands did that. So yeah, that can be creative. I mean, I know it's not me, but that's kind of me. And so that's been her her dominant thought, which is a better thought than I'm not capable at all, because that is a full-blown closed off, putting a lid on it type of thought. Now, the next one we want for her to fully embody is I am creative. Not I let creativity through me, but I am. Her work with I am. And her work with I am with the body. So we've had a lot of different energies that have come through today. So I am quiet in my mind. I am feminine. I am beautiful. And then the last one that we really want her to work on is I am creative. And she hasn't been dancing as much as she used to. And running is good. Running, it moves energies, and that's a really beautiful practice for her now. But dancing also, because dancing is her energy. We have come through in motion through her, so light language through motion, but the dancing is truly freely hers. And so it was to bring attention to that a little bit, to her need to dance more as it pertains to her connection to herself.
Wonderful. Thank you for that reminder. It's touching my bones too.
Definitely.
Okay, very good. Yeah. I have a question. I had an idea that came to me while we were doing this session, and I want to check also if there's any collective. So I want to check if there's any collective that would like to share teachings while during the state of trance. So we can create like a little workshop or maybe little videos of a series of videos that will give teaching for everyone that will help them with their ascension or with their spiritual evolution, expansion. And then we could do some collaboration of recording a few videos like that. Is there any collective who would like to participate, or the higher self think that is a good opportunity? Can you? And also, of course,
we love you for offering, and we love you for bringing this forth for her. She just got to experience this exploration. And how does that feel? How? Where's the joy? We would say that there's so much opportunity for that. And in a way, without asking your permission, we have been doing it sneakily over the over the sessions. We sense that Clara wants to. Anat will come through her, through speaking, through regular channeling. Or whenever he feels like there is something particular, he's trying to come in and shaking his head now, saying, "Hey."
You want to participate in the party too?
Yeah.
Okay,
He doesn't want to be forgotten, let's say. He's funny.
Okay.
What you have just opened the door to will unfold in a magnificent way. It is not on accident that you have offered this at this time. And it is, I see them bowing. They're humbled and really excited, and there's so much outpouring of love for you stepping up. You just stepped up in a major way, in a really major way. There's a certain sense of, oh my gosh, I don't know how to explain. It's so beautiful.
I can feel the energy all around me, and they're like blasting me with like energy right now.
What I'm really sensing is that they love this particular platform because it doesn't make you a guru, and that a lot of the work that needs to be done now is to avoid that there be a guru, someone higher than, and that others need to learn from. And in using a platform like this one, you can, in essence, use different people to have very specific teachings come through that can morph through time, that can morph through consciousness groups. And so I get the sense that it's a really beautiful way to avoid the adoration aspect. Yeah. And they're really grateful for you for putting that forward.
Wonderful.
Which is really cool. Really, really cool.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to facilitate it. And do you want to guide us? Is there anything that you would like to suggest about that? If we should put a time once a week, and if there's any set of structure that you want to propose for that?
All right, we will say this. We will say this one, she's always ready. So it will be important also for her not to always be there, so that people don't think that it's her. What we will say is this. In all the sessions that you do, ask whether that is something the person is willing to do, willing to share. In the session, once the work for the person is done, ask whether one of the groups is willing to come through. And what we would say is that you don't have to worry about the timing, for we will not always come through if too much information is coming too fast so that no one can integrate it. We will come in the perfect timing. So just keep asking that will be your opening. And when the knowledge, the information, the frequency is able to come through, then we will happily come through. There's a certain sense of hunger in people as the energies accelerate, or the perception of the energies is accelerated. But at the same time, there is a certain sense of energy, of information overload. So we will handle that balance
Thank you.
you, so that you don't have to worry about that.
Thank
It will
you.
come through at the right time.
So do you mean that you'll come through also different people?
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
As they resonate.
Yeah.
So various different people will be able to tap into different consciousness groupings, shall we say.
Yeah. So
as you have, sorry, let us finish just the sentence. Just as you have seen your various channels that do so sitting in front of the stage. So we will just do a fairly similar thing, but through people that are guided by you, as opposed to through one person in particular. Now, as you've been doing a fantastic job of asking for insights from higher consciousness, every session you share, don't hesitate to sit in not quite meditation, shall we say, but in a creative mode, and hash out a list of questions or of topics you might want to cover, and have one per session, for example, and you will know which question to ask. We will guide you to which question to ask in that particular session, so that you may feel like there is a sense of shall we say, organization in this disorder and disorganization, as you may externally see it to be, so that you can extract that piece if the entire session may not be relevant to those hungry for tools to use, for example. But those are becoming many. We think of simple titles such as Subconscious Explains Meditation, for example, or Anat on Spacing Out Thoughts, for example, in this session. And a simple set of questions, and they will come to you as you sit and write them out, will be very valuable in you feeling like there is a teaching in the way that humans teach.
Wonderful. So the consciousness that will come forward through also other people will be Clara and also Anat?
Anat might not come through everybody.
Okay.
Clara will... Let us explain a little bit about how these energies come through, these chat energies come through. There is a certain frequency, a certain resonance, a certain pitch that a person might emit. And as they work, and as they clear, as they heal, and as they grow, that pitch changes the same way that a voice changes as a child matures through teenage years. As that pitch changes, it now resonates with another frequency. Now, as you are infinite, the universe is infinite, so is the number of us, shall we say. So is the consciousness. We're one big C, in, out, separate, together. We're all one big consciousness. Now, when a particular frequency lines up with a being, for example, right here with her, Clara was able to come through. What we were saying, and what I hope you will be able to sense out of the message, was that Clara is one piece of the great whole.
Yeah.
So do not get caught up and hung up on what piece of this great whole comes through. For that is not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that you have the intent to tap into the great whole, as you have been doing through the subconscious, as you call it. Tap through the great whole and extract whatever information is ready to be given to you, is ready for you to understand and to integrate.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that is appealing through channeling of beings, shall we say, is that we can sense their personality.
Right.
There's an appeal to that. There's an appeal to the voice, to the tones, to the wit.
Yeah.
There's an appeal to the delicacy.
Yeah.
It makes it is meant to illustrate. It is meant to illustrate for you.
Yeah.
Some things that are harder to understand without illustration.
Right.
Now, the same way that we want to advise against a guru in human form, we don't want you to start looking for a guru in the world that you can't see with your physical eyes.
I understand.
So things will come through, and maybe certain voices will come more repetitively as a message is being delivered. But don't worry about forming a relationship with any one of us. And don't worry about us leaving, for we're not leaving. We're just going to be very mindful about how often we show up and under what form, in order to make sure that what we are trying to teach you is embodied within how we teach it as well. And not that we show you the opposite.
I have a questions.
Absolutely.
Maybe I can have a request for those different collectives that will work with me to mention that now it's something for the collective, or now it's something for your courses. Maybe they can say something, that they can come forward and say, hey, notice, this is something a little different, and it will go into the collective of those videos.
So you want clarification as to whether this is for the client you're with or for everybody? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm asking if there's a way that they can come forward in a similar way that will make me know that this is now directed more for the collective.
Oh, well, you have been asking. Just keep asking. Let's just ask who this is a question for everybody now. And mention that based on the comfort level of the client, mention that they are indeed, or they're giving you permission, or they have the intent to allow all beings that are here for the highest good and the highest good of all to come through, and those who are willing and wishing to come through will come through.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, let's take another deep breath. Wonderful. Is there anything else for Naomi that want to be expressed today?
She's doing a lot of ancestral DNA clearing, and she's finding it difficult when she is faced with her parents, because they are not at the same exact point on their path as she is
Yeah.
of hers. We would say at this point, keeping a high vibration is important, but not at the expense of authenticity, of course, because that no longer resonates as a high vibration. That resonates as a dissonant, empty frequency. So the important, she's been doing it kind of trial and error, push pull. I would say the important thing is to leave when there is need to leave to recenter, but to voice that.
Mm.
So to voice that she needs to leave and then to go recenter. That will be doing a great deal in resetting the patterns of the family.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to engage in things she doesn't agree with, and she doesn't need to explain her point of view until she drills it down. That's not the point. That is very polarized. So instead, it is a recognition that she feels polarized towards something, a verbalization that that is what is happening, and then a going to recenter. It is just that rather than doing that alone, she needs to involve the person she's talking to at that time and say, listen, at this point, rather than, me losing my cool, I need to go take a walk. And that is a very simple technique that is highly undervalued. And that is something that that she needs to, that would be very good for her to try. And that a lot of you, we are giving you permission to try this and see how it works in your life. If you feel your anger, your temper, your impatience rising,
Yeah.
excuse yourself, say that you need to regain control, go regain control. It may not always work because you are in certain patterns that prevent you from truly expressing who you are and what emotional landscape you are exploring right now. But it will be liberating over, let's say, the long term, because if that, the assumption that you do want to be more in tune with yourself. So in that, with keeping that, your intent being that in mind, of being closer to a greater sense of love and a greater sense of joy. If you feel anger rising, but you don't want it to rise, let's say you just lost your cool, excuse yourself. You have the right to excuse yourself, regain composure, and then go back to the person you were having a heated discussion with.
Yeah.
In that time, you can explore, and it may take more than just a few minutes, but it gives you an opportunity to explore your the reason why you are so polarized to whatever the other person was saying or being. Sometimes the person might just annoy you because, who knows, they snap their lips when they're done talking. There's something silly like that. What is it that is triggered within you? Go regain your composure, look within yourself as to what was triggered. In doing that, you really honor your process, you really honor your alert system, shall we say, and you allow for a greater sense of respect and love for the person that you are talking to by preventing the escalation that you are all too familiar with. So we are giving you a green card, a go-ahead pass to try it, to try to regain control before you fully lose all control.
Mm-hmm.
And to see how that goes. That's not the same as repressing your anger and trying to, shove it back down. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. It may look the same from the outside, but it's quite the opposite. In voicing that your anger is rising, or that you're not able to keep your cool, whatever words you may want to choose, and in going in a place that calms you, a place of love. So not to a bottle. We're not saying that. We're saying go to nature. Go feel a ray of sun. Look at a puppy that may make you smile. Something simple, something nature, something connected. Very, very simple. A walk. Go for a walk. That will give you. Don't go for a drive. Go for a walk. It's not the same thing. They both may appear similar, but one is reconnecting to nature. The other one is doing. So staying in the head. So they're not the same thing. So just go into a place of reconnection to oneself and to nature, to connection. That is very powerful. You don't need to be religious. You don't need to be spiritual. You just allow common decency to regain, to be part of your life a second earlier or a minute earlier. The impact may be gigantic.
Yeah.
Impact may be gigantic.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful tool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. So that will help her with her family and many other ways.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see if there's anything else for Naomi that we want to take this opportunity to assist and heal.
We'll just send a little bit more light through her body cavity to assist and support the release, the readjustment in her chakras and in her DNA that have taken place. We are going to just run one last body scan.
Please do. All the layers from inside and from outside. And the bottom.
So there is a lot of work that has been done. We feel it is complete at this time to leave for integration now.
Integration. That's good. Very good. Good. So, is there any integration that she would need to do after she's being brought up again?
We will say go make her go get her a glass of water.
Yeah, water.
Yes. And then the rest is just those practices, those daily practices.
Okay.
Will greatly aid.
Good. Okay. Can you tune her up to the highest level of frequency available for her?
Mm-hmm.
What level is that?
For her and the way she sees it, it's a very interesting concept because high is also low.
Mm-hmm.
And in and out. So there are many different frequencies that spike her interest all at once. And one of the low ones, shall we say, is Mother Earth. It's not low, but she feels it as a D vibration. Full of love, a D vibration. And that's one she wants to tune to now.
Okay, wonderful. Does that help with the integration of that work that we just did, the embodiment of that?
Mm-hmm. It's going to help with the release in the next few days of things that has started to shake loose that she'll continue to release over the next 3 days, shall we say.
Okay.
Connection to nature is extremely important in this sense, actually, for it is the grounding aspect, it is the embodying, well, it is the body aspect, and the work she is elected to do this time is very much body work. So it'll be the most appropriate, shall we say.
Is there any message from Mother Earth that she wants to deliver while we tune into her frequency?
Na malanya ro 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 ro. Nya wa. Now my Naya Namyo Anyemelaya Enilia Nornismia O Mayono Mayono Yo Manana Na Malanyalara Visiono.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Is there anything that Mother Earth want to express in English? Any translation of that or anything else?
It was a message of deep love for all her children, even those that hurt her outer shell, even those that scab at her. A message of deep, deep, unconditional love for all her children. And that even though her upper surface, her skin may appear damaged, the love within her is infinite.
Wonderful. Beautiful, thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting or
No, this is perfect. This was a lot of information for you, a lot of new connections, a lot of new ideas. For her, it was a lot of healing and a lot of the same things we mentioned for you.
Yeah.
We feel that is enough for this session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Shining light. You are shining a light, and you are shining light. It is beautiful work you are doing.
Thank you. Many blessings. Looking forward for the next time, as always. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So now, like that.